welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video that has me really excited because it's one of my favorite things to do at the beginning of the year, and that is talk about my favorite books of the past year, and that is my favorite books of 2020, and I'm so excited to be doing this. To begin with, last year I read 93 books, so it was a fair number, and though I enjoyed them all a lot, I ended up not having that many books that actually just stole my breath. Even at the moment didn't quite feel like that, but I'm happy with that because it was a remarkable year reading wise, but I did find some books that I just love with all my heart. I chose 5 books that I'm gonna be talking about right here, and I just love them so much. The list will have a little order. I'm gonna go from the book that I like the least, even though I still love it. I liked it a little bit less than the other books, and the first one, the last one I guess, will be the one that I love with all my heart, and that was the best thing I read last year. And yeah, a little disclaimer, remember these are my opinions. If you didn't like one of the books, that's completely fine. If you disagree, it's fine. We have different opinions, that's fun. So let's get started. And for that, I really just want to say that it was really hard to make this list, to maybe not make the list, because I did have a pretty good idea of the books that were going to be a part of it, but just to choose which one I liked a little bit less and which one I liked a little bit more was really hard. You have no idea how hard it was, and yeah, but I'm very happy with how the list turned out. So let's get started for real this time. And the first book I want to talk about is The Butterfly Garden by Todd Hutchison. It's the first book in the Collectors series, and it is a horror book that I had and I was not expecting to love as much as I did, but oh my god, it made such an impact on me, and I still remember the book so well. It was the Butterfly Garden. It's this very creepy dude, the collector, the gardener actually, who kidnapped young girls to have as his butterflies, in his little garden, his little place secluded where they were there for him. And it's creepy and it's messed up and it's super entertaining in that very wrong way, just to see all of this unfold, and especially because I just absolutely love Maya, the main character. She is super brave, she's super smart, and at the same time she's very vulnerable, and I love that. I love her character so much. I'm just a little bit obsessed with her, aka a lot obsessed with her, and I just really love the story. It's not the scariest thing I have ever read. It's more mystery thriller than probably a good horror, but it does have a lot of things that are just disturbing, and I did enjoy that factor as well. The next book, number 4, it's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I'm not exactly surprised by this. It's just such an amazing book. The audiobook, it's such a revolutionary idea. I think it just works so well with the book, with the format, since it's a kind of interview style, and you have the entries. Literally, it's not narrated like normally we'll have paragraphs with their thoughts and stuff like that. It's just interview in a book, and I think that was really well done, and it works a little bit better in the audiobook. The full cast just stole my breath because it was so fun to have all these different voices and being able to recognize the character more easily and everything. And reading it and hearing it was such an amazing thing. But aside from that, the story is just so good. I love music. I am a musician, so music speaks to me, and this book understands that so well. The songs were so good. I didn't know the hair obviously because it is at the end of the day a book, so you don't have like the melody, but you do have lyrics, and that was pretty cool, and I loved it. I love the whole way that it understands the music, it understands the process of making music, and it was really fun. It treats serious topics as well, like addiction and other topics, and it's dramatic, it's, you know, the tea of the story. It gives you that sense that you are entering a royal band and that you are seeing what they did in that period of time, and now you're seeing what they did, how they form and everything. It's just really fun, feels very realistic, it feels very connected, like, you know, the 60s and the 60s could have been a band that we all heard or was a huge thing in the 60s, and now we are hearing all the tea, and it's just that, it's getting the tea, and it's so fun. I loved it so much. The ending stole me away. I still cannot get over that final letter. So many emotions. I loved it, and I'm gonna say I loved it a lot of times through this video, so prepare yourself, okay? Book number 3 in the list is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, and this was a huge surprise to me. It's the first book in the Last Hours trilogy that is her most recent work, and I hadn't liked a Shadowhunters book this much in a pretty long while, since Lord of Shadows came out with that magnificent ending. This book, I think it's gonna be my new favorite trilogy by Cassandra Clare. It's just so good. It's kinda historical fantasy. It's in the 1800s, 1900s. It's in the early 1900s, and we follow Cordelia Carstairs after she moves to London after having lived a little bit of time practically everywhere in Europe, since her father's health is very poor and they have been trying to find a place where he can feel better, and now they're moving to London because her father ran into a little bit of trouble and they need to, you know, help save their situation, and you have all this thing about his status and, you know, how to save your reputation and stuff like that, which is always so interesting to see how intricate and crazy it was at the time. And at the same time you have mysteries going on because, you know, demons and shadow hunters and stuff like that, and it's just so good. It's dramatic to the end, and oh my god, the things this book does, it had me so anxious while I was reading it, because the ending just, I cannot live with that ending. I cannot believe that she dared to do that, because I was hoping for a slightly different ending, but it's still so good, and I just know that Chain of Iron is gonna be insanely dramatic, and I just can't wait for that. And it's the good kind of drama and tea that it's just action-packed, but also super, oh my god, they are doing that! And it's so fun. The characters are amazing, and I just love the Merediths and their little friendship. They are the cutest people ever. Matthew Fairchild is my child, and he needs to be protected because he deserves the world. And it just has this amazing cast, and you know, the story is also pretty great, and I cannot wait to see how it all turns out, because now I'm just anxious about it all. And I have not liked a Shadowhunters book that much in a while. I honestly think it's one of her best things ever written, and that is saying a bit, because she's pretty good at concocting her Shadowhunters world. But I am just so enamored. I love Cordelia. She's such a great main character. She's so strong and steadfast and witty and just bold, and I love that. I love that, and I think it has something for everyone with all the characters, and yeah, it was amazing. Alright, we are entering the last 2 books that was really hard to choose them and to not make a tie between them. But before that, I want to mention some books that almost got it to the list, but just didn't quite make it. But I still love them a lot, and they deserve to be mentioned at least once in the video. The first one is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas, the first book in the Crescent City series, and it's just such an intense book, mostly because it's very action-packed at the end. It's insane. The last 200 pages, I just couldn't catch my breath, and the rest of the book is still very interesting, building up the world and everything. And the world is super complex, so I love that. And the other one, it's The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, and it is a standalone, a very simple book because it is simple, but I don't know, it has something that touches my soul, and I love it. And now we can start with the last two books. I decided in this at the end because it felt right, even though it was really hard, but I feel that it's the right choice. So we're gonna go ahead with it. And the second book in the list is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, the 7th book in the Throne of Glass series. And oh my god, that book is just emotions. I am not kidding when I say that I cried from beginning to end of the book. I was just a big, huge mess in the whole story. I had never felt so much with a book before, and it just destroyed me. It's the perfect ending for the series as well. It ties all of the little strings together in a neat little ribbon, and it's just such a good ending. I think I have not loved an ending this much in a very, very, very long time. That is saying a lot, believe me. And Throne of Glass is the story of Selena Sardothian, and she's an assassin that was in prison for a little while because, you know, she's an assassin, but now she's been taken out of retirement and imprisonment to participate in a, I always forget that word, Jesus, competition? To participate in a competition that the king of Aralan, or, you know, her kingdom, is creating to, you know, select his own assassin, private assassin for the king. And you know, that's the start of everything, and it's just such a great series, one of my new favorites. I did read the whole series this year, so it kind of also bleeds to all the books because it's such an amazing series. But Kingdom of Ash is definitely the one that I love the most, and I completely love it. I just absolutely love it. But the reason it wasn't chosen as number one in this list is because it is the last book in the series, so it had a little bit of time to build up to that point. And though I love it absolutely and forever, I did wanted to give the place to a book that didn't need all that build up to reach that point, and that is Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth, the first book in the Chosen Ones duology, I believe. And I just love this book so much. I have not been able to stop thinking about it since I read it in August, I believe. So it's been a while. It's been a long while, and I still am completely obsessed with it. We follow 5 friends that, you know, in their youth, they were just the chosen ones, as you do when you are young, and they defeated their dark person, their villain in their youth, and now 10 years have passed since then, and we are catching up with, you know, how their lives have been. It's very emotional. Just seeing all of this after is not something that you often do in series. You always are there in the moment. You do get to see the moment, but it's what happens after, how they live after that. Can they continue with their lives? Can they, you know, just leave finally after everything happens? And it's such a great book. It has a lot of intricacies to it, which is exactly why I love about it, because it's very emotional, and the friendships are perfect and beautiful and give me life, and I just love their friendships. They are just amazing. But it also has a lot of philosophical and sociological ideas and parts that are moving inside the story, as well as a little bit of quantum physics that's going on there too, and it has a lot of action and a lot of morality being discussed. It's just it takes a lot of things into consideration and makes you think so much, and I love that. I love a book that can make you think, as well as Swan being such a badass as a main character, and she is very unapologetic, and I love that about her. I just love her character so much, and the story, I cannot wait for the second book to come out. I think it was amazingly done. It delivered amazingly in the whole emotional side, and it gave me a lot more than I was expecting, because I was not expecting this whole sociological and morality and physics that is going on here, and it was such a nice surprise. And I think the format was really fun to read as well, because it's kind of different than what you usually find with all these top secret entries and other parts that are telling you the story, as well as the perspective from the characters. I love that, and it's just definitely the best book I read this year. I felt it in my gut before I read it, and definitely did not disappoint me once I read it. I need to reread it, really need to reread it, and I'm still blown away by it. I definitely recommend it if you love to think about a book. This is definitely a book that will make you appreciate the little things and think about life. So those were my favorite books from 2020. This was really hard to do because choosing books that you love, it's always difficult. This was also really fun, especially because I thought some books were gonna cut it into this list, and at the end they didn't, and that was fun to discover as well. I do think that even though the year was a hard year, a very traumatic, very difficult year, reading just made it more bearable and a better year overall, and I have some amazing reads in it, and I am very grateful about that. Tell me down below if you have read any of these books, what you thought about them, did you like them or not, and what was your favorite book of last year. I'm very curious. I'm always up to finding and discovering new books, and yeah. Anyways, I'm so excited. Next video, it's gonna be the books that I hated or was disappointed in 2020, so that's gonna be fun to record as well to do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the little bell icon so you can get notified every time I post a new video, and like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. I have Instagram and Goodreads, where I'm posting what I'm reading at real time and what I think about the books that I'm reading. And I do extend a little bit more on there, so you can, get a little more in-depth reviews if you like that. And I'll see you next week. Bye!